Hey, what's going on? CoinOpTV subscribers, Robert Wagner here with another CoinOpTV live and interactive on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoinOpTV. We're going to be talking about Skylanders Academy, the brand new Skylanders cartoon on Netflix. Today is the day. All 13 or 12 episodes drop today on Netflix, so you can binge watch the heck out of them. And I've got Skylanders expert Matt here to help me out talking about the first 5 episodes. Good to see you, Matt.
It's good to be back, Rob.
Good to be back. We are live. We are streaming. If you guys have any hiccups with the sound, the picture of the audio, or anything like that, let us know. I've got something weird going on where the sun is coming through the clouds, so I may be glowing at some points and then broody. Hopefully I could time it to like when I'm talking about Eon, the sun is coming in on bright, and when I talk about chaos, gets like all dark there. But you look great there, Matt. You've got your toy shelf behind you. What are you repping? Is that a sports jersey?
Oh, yeah, it's my Packers jersey, sweatshirt.
All right.
It's all good.
Repping some Packers there, some football's in the house. Let's see, Emoji is in chat, and Ron is in chat. We got a few others in chat. We'll give you guys shout outs as we go. There may be some spoilers. We're not going to go overboard with the spoilers on this, but we're going to talk about our impressions of Skylanders Academy episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hopefully you guys have seen at least a couple of them. If not, get some binging. One of the things, Matt, that people have said in comments is don't have Netflix. What am I going to do? I don't know what to do. What's the tip here? If you don't have Netflix, how do you see Skylanders Academy?
I would recommend getting a free trial of Netflix. Because the whole season is available right now. So within your, I think it's like a 7-day free trial period, you should be able to watch the entire series.
So there you go. Good advice from Skylanders expert, the Matt here, SCL Matt, Skylanders character list Matt. I don't know why I'm giving you all these nicknames and stuff like that. I'm just stalling, waiting for that chat room to fill up there. There we go. We got Toby. We got Brenna, STP Turtles. Some of you guys got strange names I can't really read. Ronnie and Evan. All right, let's get started. I will say also another tip that I'll have is if you don't have Netflix, chances are you probably have a friend that has Netflix. So if you're in school, whatever school you're in, or the lunchroom, or hanging out, or after school, just say like, "Yo, bro, you got that Netflix on your cell phone or your tablet? Let's get together and do a little binge into some Skylanders Academy, right? You go with that, right? Hang out after school."
I think that makes sense.
Yes. All right, so we're going to talk about the first 5 episodes of Skylanders Academy. So episode 1 is actually a 2-parter episode called Skylanders Unite. The synopsis is the cadets come together for graduation day, but Spyro will need to overcome his bad attitude and big ego to join his friends as a Skylander. So if you guys didn't know, me and Wyrock already did a little video the other day talking about our impressions of the show, but Matt now is coming on fresh. We got some fresh blood. So Matt, first of all, what are some of your impressions of how the show kicked off? The voices, the characters, the animation?
There's a lot you can talk about, but my first impressions are overall good. I do have a few complaints about particular voices and perhaps the choice of theme song or style of the theme song. I don't know how much we want to get into that right now, but overall, I'm liking it.
Yeah, the theme song is from Timbaland, right? Hip hop artist, pop star. It's catchy. I don't know if it quite fits the Skylander, theme and vibe of things.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Like, it's catchy. That's good. To me, it feels like it should be like on a Disney Channel show. I think it would fit perfectly over there. But as far as Skylands is concerned, it's not that style. It does like, it's weird because in my mind, I hear that, and then they should like cut to live action, and they cut to cartoon. So it's not what I'm expecting when I hear that theme song, and it's not what I'm expecting when they jump to the opening credits, and it's like, oh, this is still Skylanders. Like I think they could have done better with that. I don't. The song itself is fine, which I'm assuming was probably written just for the show. and so it works out very well in that respect. But it's just the style of it is not what I would have expected.
Yeah, I think it's an original song for the show here. Queen Sparky in chat says, "Will it ever be on DVD?" I'm not quite sure, but right now it's on Netflix. I don't think they've put some Netflix shows like Orange Is the New Black is on DVD and Blu-ray, right?
Yeah, exactly. They have made some. Some have made that jump over to DVD, so it is very possible. It probably depends how popular they think it is, if they're going to be able to sell copies of it. But I mean, that's the whole thing with Netflix, is so many people have Netflix. Do you really need to give them the physical copy as well? Or are you going to get the sales if everybody knows that it's a Netflix original show, so it's always going to be on Netflix? It's not like some of the other shows that could come and go from time to time. I'm pretty sure the Netflix original shows will always be on Netflix.
Yeah, we're not quite sure. I don't think they'll go away unless Netflix goes away. Yeah. So I'd love to see a Daredevil season 1, set for that's a Netflix show on DVD, or like with commentary and behind the scenes featurettes. That would be kind of cool. So, all right, let's get back to the show here. So let's talk. Okay, so episode 1, we get to meet Spyro and Stealth Elf and Eruptor, kind of the main characters, Chaos and Eon, of course. So, let's talk about some of the characters.
So the main character we saw, I mean, obviously, I was a little surprised how they set this up, but Stealth Elf, Eruptor, and Spyro seem to be kind of like our main trio that we're going to follow around, and that part made sense to me. They are 3 of the original Skylanders that we saw in Spyro's Adventure. But what surprised me then was, so it's Skylanders Academy, so there's still some schooling to be had, and their professors then are characters like Jetvac and Pop Fizz. And so it seemed odd to me that characters we met later in the series, like Jetvac and Pop Fizz, didn't show up until Giants, and so we met them later, but they're more experienced than the first group of Skylanders we met. That part threw me for a loop a little bit, but I guess I think it would have been stranger if Spyro wasn't in the student group, and so what are you going to do?
Yeah, it was interesting. So now I'm 5 episodes in, and I've met Kingpin, who's Skylander Sensei, and he's in it. And then we get to see an Imaginator, and we've seen some characters from Trap Team. Haven't seen any Giants yet, although I'm only up to episode 5. But yeah, it is a little interesting, the continuity of the video game to the cartoon. It doesn't seem like canon, like it fits in perfectly.
Yeah, and like I'm okay with that though, because I've never been really big on lore and canon and that sort of thing. I like to experience each piece of media for what it is, and hopefully it's close enough to the other pieces that it doesn't throw everything off. And that's what I'll get into in a minute here with some of the voices that aren't quite where I expected them to be. And so it takes a little getting used to. But generally speaking, if you accept this as, I guess I'd have to say most of this happens before any of the games, because Spyro just became a Skylander and such. But it's the problem you get into there is that now Spyro has met Kingpin, and in the game, I think. I guess they're basically meeting him for the first time because he wasn't created until this game. But so it's hard to mix and match all that stuff.
But your mind is getting confused because you're playing a video game that's going one way and then the cartoon has gone the other. We should remind ourselves that this cartoon was probably made like 3 years ago. It actually took a while to kind of get signed with a distributor company. So it's funny to see Kingpin and some of the characters in here knowing that this was probably made about 3 years ago, because all these people were able to keep the Senseis and the Imaginators sort of a secret for all that time. So that's something pretty crazy. is the secret level there. Hey, we got Teo is in chat, and Rohan, and Evan says, does Billy West do a voice? I believe Billy West is a character in the show according to the credits, and Chloe's in chat also. All right, let's get back to episode 1. Let me show a clip here. Here's a little clip with Chaos and Glumshanks. Let's start with the Master of Evil, Chaos. What'd you think? We get Richard Orvitz, of course, back as the voice of Chaos, and a new voice to Glumshanks, Norm Macdonald. So what'd you think of their character dynamic and their voices?
The dynamic is just about where it needs to be, but the biggest problem I have is with Glumshanks. And I guess he's almost too sarcastic. Like in the games, he has that kind of dry, slow tone, but he doesn't necessarily. It feels like in the show he's always like one step ahead of Chaos, and yeah, he's going to be a little bit brighter than Chaos, but I don't feel that he really gives us that sarcastic tone in the game.
Yeah, I'm a fan, of course, of Chaos no matter what, and the Norm Macdonald Glumshanks take. I'm hoping that I don't know. I'm hoping he gets a Red Bull or something, sometime soon, because he just seems like really too monotone and he's kind of dull, I think, with his
Sure.
delivery and stuff. So, all right. So, what about like the episode? What about like episode 1? It's called Skylanders Unite. We get to see baby Spyro. We get to see Eon adopting Spyro and making him his star pupil. What was your sort of take on the episode in general?
It was interesting. A little bit of a origin as to how Eon came about Spyro, although Eon always just seems to be at the right place at the right time to find these Skylanders. But I did like that they kind of flash back to early Spyro days. The first shot when we get him in the nest there or whatever that is, actually reminds me that the modeling reminds me of Spry, the little Skylanders mini.
The sidekick, the mini sidekick,
they basically modeled that. I mean, obviously they're not using the same models they used in the game, but it's the extra big eyes, and it just really reminded me of Spry.
So what'd you think of the story? We had to sort of get the first episode. We get the Skylander wannabes. In order to become official Skylanders, like Stealth Elf, you're up to Spyro. They have to take a challenge and beat that. Of course, we also get to meet Barf Breath, which we think is going to be a temporary Skylander just for the TV show. But yeah, what'd you think of sort of having that as kind of in the first episode?
It was an interesting spin on it. Like if that lore has been out there about how they become Skylanders, I've never read it before, I guess. And so that was an interesting thing to think about, that they go through their schooling and then they have to pass a final test to become a Skylander, and it makes it interesting to think that that's you actually have to accomplish something to become a Skylander. I think in most of the backstories we've read, Eon stumbles across them or is told about them after they do some heroic deed. And so this is a little bit of a different twist, that they're all, gathered here. They have potential, but to become a true Skylander, you have to graduate. So.
All right. Let's jump over to episode 2 here. And episode 2 is called My Way or the Skyway. Of course, there's always plays and puns on words. Jetvac uses a potential plumbing disaster to teach Spyro about the Skylanders' way, but they clash over Jetvac's strict rules and planning. Is the show trying to teach us a little too much? Are we learning how to be good Portal Masters and Skylanders ourselves a little too much in the show, Matt?
I don't think so. I kind of like the way they're handling it. That there is kind of one main lesson per episode. So sometimes they're a little bit joking, but you could, if you really wanted to, apply all of these lessons to just about any stage of life. And it reminds me more of cartoons I grew up with in the 90s, that there was kind of one central theme, one kind of message they were getting at in the episode, and it'd all wrap up at the end of the episode, and then you go on to the next week and learn something else.
I don't know if I said in chat, somebody in chat saying barf breath with like caps. I don't know if I said barf breath. I think his name is Bad Breath or something like that. I don't want to dwell too much on that, but here's a little picture of Bad Breath on screen there. So, okay, so let's go over to episode 3, the Missing Link. Well, this is when we get to meet Kingpin and the Imaginators. We get to introduce that here. This is apologies, this is a screenshot off of my TV. I was binge watching and taking pictures on my phone. The synopsis is when the Skylanders struggle to work as a team, Sensei Kingpin shows them how to build a new teammate, which of course is an Imaginator that combines their talents. We get to see Banana Head Imaginator realized in real life. Somebody in chat said that might be Dan, the Minecraft guy Dan there. I'm not quite sure if he's doing the voice or not. Is that
he is?
Okay.
He just tweeted about that yesterday. Tweeted a picture and mentioned that his name was Sai and all that type of stuff. So that is definitely Dan. Yeah.
Okay, so shout outs to Dan, the minecart, for jumping in the Skylander, crossing over. I don't even know does he do Skylander videos on his channel? Is this a new thing for him?
I'm really not sure. I assumed he was all Minecraft, but yeah, I haven't checked recently. Maybe he did switch over a little bit.
So this episode we get to see it's almost like an X-Men episode with the what do they call it on the X-Men? Like the training room there with the
sure.
I'm brain farting because I haven't had any sleep because I've been binge watching this show and it's been busy with gaming. But in the X-Men comic books, and they have sort of this holodeck room where they sort of train the facility. So Eon has that now where they can sort of train, and we see them. So what'd you think of sort of the Missing Link episode 3?
I thought it was another solid episode. It's once again had that lesson that they had to learn, teaching them to work as a team and whatnot. And I really liked how they incorporated the newest Imaginators into the episode, and they really they didn't. It wasn't necessarily like trying to sell you anything, but it did get you interested in if you hadn't played Skylanders in a while. It's like, wait, there's Skylanders you can create, and you might look into it. You might get interested. And I think they explained really well, like what happens. It's like you get this creation crystal, and then you go in and you can add whatever parts you want, and so it's really well done, I think. Yeah,
that was a fun episode. That was that episode made me kind of lean forward and go, oh, wow, there's actually foresight. They actually put forward thinking into this, the show that was made a few years ago. They knew about the Imaginators. We get to see Kingpin. Although I was a little disappointed that Kingpin didn't sort of waddle and sort of stagger with his walk there. He just kind of walked like a regular old person.
He had a little bit of a waddle to him. I mean, he didn't. He took a while to get down those steps.
It wasn't like the weird framing, kind of thing.
Sure.
Speaking of that, so what do you think of sort of the way they're using their powers in the show? We sort of course, Spyro's got flight and fire, and Euruptor's got some fire, and Stealth Elf seems to be able to teleport. He kind of reminds me of she kind of reminds me of Nightcrawler a little bit more from the X-Men universe. Is that a thing?
I mean, she has had that stealth ability before. It's never quite portrayed as like a teleportation necessarily in the game, but I think that would be a lot harder to control. And so it's something that they can do in the show because they can just animate it how they want, as opposed to giving a player control of that and trying to explain, well, okay, if you press this button and then you have to aim where you want to go, and I think it'd get too messy. But maybe that's what the style of play they were going for all along, and now they have the ability to show it off.
Yeah, I like the abilities. How everybody's got their own stuff. It's funny to see like Jetvac with his little suction weapon there used in an episode. That was pretty fun. All right, let's go episode 4. I got a graphic for that. Episode 4 is Dream Girls. Stealth Elf is chosen to give a speech to the entire academy But first, she has to figure out why everyone is suddenly terrified of sheep. So this episode, we get to meet a new villain. You know, we're kind of getting introduced to characters along the way. What'd you think of Dream Girls?
Yeah, it was an interesting episode. And I suppose we're going to get more of this as we go along, where there's more focus on one of the characters than the group as a whole. And obviously in this case, we focus more on Stealth Elf and our main baddie in this episode, which you can probably guess who it is. But yeah, it was an interesting way to handle things. And this episode in particular, really, it started to jump out at me how much I don't quite care for the tone that Ashley Tisdale is using for Stealth Elf. Have you ever seen Phineas and Ferb?
Oh yes, of course, yes. Let's do something over the summer.
Yeah. So Ashley Tisdale also plays the voice of Candace, their older sister, and the Stealth Elf's voice to me seems a little bit too upbeat. I would have expected something a little more serious and a little more brooding. And so when she gets really happy and upbeat and stuff, she really starts to remind me of Candace, and that's all I can hear. And all of a sudden, I'm in the wrong show, and I don't know. It's just my personal preference, maybe, but this episode, I think it just focused so much on her that I got to hear that voice over and over, and it didn't quite click.
Interesting. I'm the complete opposite. Stealth Elf is my favorite character, actually, in the show over Spyro and Eruptor. I just think, I'm not really hearing Ashley Tisdale at all. I'm just hearing this like fun, witty female cartoon character that can teleport and has these cool little blades and stuff like that. So I'm enjoying Stealth Elf. I'm not quite enjoying Eruptor's voice and character, and Spyro. I'm learning to love, but with Justin Long. And some of the things he says, just a little tricky for me to sort of, to take in. So is there any other voices? What about Jetvack's voice in Jetvack and Pop Fizz? Are you liking them?
You see, yeah, everybody else, I think Glumshanks and Stealth Elf were the only two, except for one in the next episode, that I had an issue with. Everybody else, Spyro, I had no problem with. I can tell it's Justin Long, but it fits the character. I think same with Eruptor, and I think the biggest problem is with a lot of these characters is up to this point we never really had long extended monologues or dialogues from them. And it's just like a one-liner. Like the first couple games, we didn't really have voices at all. And then we move forward and we slowly got more dialogue from each character. And it's usually just like a catchphrase at a time. And it's weird that when you have these longer conversations, you have to get more inflection and get more of an idea of what the character actually sounds like.
Yeah, it's definitely a show. It's a show, so it's coming along episode by episode. It's not everything right up front, and a lot of things kind of unfolding, like you're talking about the characters, stuff like that. I'm enjoying that aspect of it. When I saw it at a screening, we saw the first episode back to back, and it was really slow, the pacing and stuff like that. But now that I'm watching it at my house and I'm kind of multitasking a bit while I'm binging, it's a little easier to sort of like take in, or maybe it's possible that the episodes are just getting better. Maybe we just kind of got the first couple out of the way. But episode 5 is called The Whole Truth. The young Skylanders are assigned to spend a day as guards at Cloudcracker Prison, and the inmates try to trick their heroes into letting them escape. So now we're getting into sort of a little more of the lore of Skylanders with Cloudcracker Prison. This, of course, was a gimmick for Skylanders Trap Team. We get to see some of the villains. We get Golden Queen, which apparently Chaos has a crush on, Wolfgang, Chef Pepperjack, Chompy Mage, and Broccoli Guy, and a few others. I feel like there might have been some more. So now we get... It seems like some of these voices are the same. Some of them seem way off. Like, I don't remember Chompy Mage's voice being...
Yep. Yep, that was the big complaint I had in that one. It's that was not Chompy Mage at all. I
Yeah.
mean, we have come across Chompy Mage now in multiple games, and he has a very distinct kind, a lot higher pitched than what we get in the show here. He has in the show he's kind of down low, gruff, kind of grumpy old man type of thing, and yeah, I could not get past that.
And it's weird. I was looking on IMDb now. Wolfgang, I've met the voice of Wolfgang Jumpy JP there, and he's a great guy. And it says on IMDb that that's the same voice, but his voice even sounds kind of different in the show. It's almost like they sort of told him to speak differently. And then Broccoli Guy. It seems like we get different Broccoli Guy voices. Like sometimes he's the surfer dude. Sometimes he's like sounds kind of like Spyro a bit. Like in Skylanders Battlecast, I thought he sounded like Spyro's voice and stuff. And it's weird because he's in the video game now, and you hear him narrating. He's like, "Yeah, dude, like those are some amazing broccoli, blah blah blah," and stuff. And this, his voice is completely different. Like what happened with the direction?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they decided on, or maybe just recording schedules or what it was. But there are so many different voices just between this year's game, Imaginators, and the show. Like we have two different Spyros, and for the most part, it works. I don't really care. I don't usually compare them too much. But like you said, there are a couple of characters that are so far off from each other that it makes you wonder what they were doing or what they were thinking.
So does that take you out of the enjoyment? Is this just like a knee jerk reaction? Is it throwing you off, or is it like, all right, I'll take whatever you can give me? You know, we've been waiting 6 years for a Skylanders cartoon. Just give me something.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. It does throw me off for a little while, especially like I said, most of the characters are fine, but every time Chompy Mage would say something, I'm like, wait, who's talking now? it did throw me off a bit.
Yeah, Chompy Mage was a big deviant from his video game voice. We'll have to have so Matt of course has his website, his YouTube channel. Maybe that's something you can work on as these you'll have articles about the voice actor in the game and the voice actor on the show, and we'll have some voting or something like that. We can thumbs up what people like better, some comparison or something.
There you go.
In chat, Chris says Wolfgang is amazing. Queen Sparky says Wolfgang is awesome, so Wolfgang love. And Jason says Chompy Mage, so we're getting some Chompy Mage. Of course, these are the Doom Raiders, right? We get to see, it's almost like the Doom Raiders origin story with them in the prison and everything, right?
Yeah, the Cloudcracker prison, I did not expect to see it. Once they introduced it totally made sense. Like, okay, they just caught one of the villains and they got to take it to a prison, and it's like, oh, we have a prison within the Skylanders realm already, so we're going to use that. But the more the episode went on, it just reminded me of like Arkham, from Batman. It like you put all the super bad guys in this one giant prison, and then they always break out, and then you got to put them back in, and they'll break out again. It's just going to happen over and over, and it worked for Batman, so why not Skylanders, I guess. But yeah, it was interesting because I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, I like it. Of course, just since Matt and I are Skylander nerds, if you didn't know, the Cloudcracker, I can't say it, Cloudcracker Prison was introduced in the Skylanders comic book before it was introduced in the video game, and now it's on the TV show. So it's interesting to see comic, video game, TV show, all apps, all this stuff sort of coming together. We just want to sort of stop. We're going to do episodes 1 through 5 and sort of our reviews, impressions. I'm going to do a video tomorrow with Wyrock. Hopefully we can jump ahead, maybe watch a few more episodes. I don't know if I can binge watch and finish it all off today. We'll see if I can do a full recap. So what else do we need to touch on there, Matt? Is this a fun show? If you have Netflix already, should this be in your queue, or should you skip it?
I would absolutely recommend it, especially if you're a Skylanders fan, or if you're just looking for something lighthearted to turn on in the background. It's going to be fun. It's family friendly, so go for it. I'd recommend it to anybody.
Chris in chat says Broccoli Guy is not a Doom Raider. I know he's a villain. Is he not a Doom Raider officially?
Technically not a Doom Raider.
Yes. Let's see. Toby says, is it November now? Not quite. We still have Halloween. You guys, let me know in chat what you're going to dress up. Is anybody in chat going to be a Skylander or Chaos for Halloween at all? What about you, Matt? Are you going to dress up as any Skylanders for Halloween?
I hadn't thought about it, but I'm guessing probably not.
I was Chop Chop once. I bought like the little shield and I had the sword and I had like a skeleton outfit on. So that was,
I like it.
That was like way back. I think maybe when Skylanders Giants was out or something like that. I did an episode on camera where I was in costume as Chop Chop. So check that out. Let's see. Chris says, I want Dr. Crankcase in the show. What do you think? You think we'll see Dr. Crankcase?
I've been surprised how many different characters have popped up so far just in the first 5 episodes. So it's very possible, I think.
Yeah, we've been seeing. I mean, obviously they don't want to throw everything in. The first season we got to save some stuff for the second season. Haven't seen Flynn yet. I'm curious to see, if
we get
Flynn,
those NPCs in there.
Yeah, Flynn and Callie and Tessa. So far we've got like Eon and Hugo. And of course, Glumshanks and Chaos, and then the other characters. Is there any other interesting tidbits, anything like that you saw that kind of surprised you before we wrap this up?
Nothing too much. I did like, if you pay attention to all the backgrounds and just little things that like when they're playing chess and little knickknacks on the shelf, there's some interesting Easter eggs that they throw in there, and I'm probably going to go in and see if I can maybe do a video about that, just little things that I saw. But yeah, interesting show. I like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah, like Matt was saying when here, I'll roll this Chaos clip again. Like when we're in Chaos's lair, he's got like a little toy shelf with little figures for different characters, like Golden Queen and Wolfgang, and little things on his wall. And whenever Eon is walking around through Skylanders Academy, you see little things, little posters, images. The attention to detail is really great. I mean, I'm a little torn. When I'm watching the show, I can sort of tell, like, well, the people who wrote this obviously don't play the video game, but I think that there's enough of there was enough of a collaboration that people sort of talked and worked it out, so that like a lot of Easter eggs and fun things kind of made it into the show. So. Okay, so let's see. Toby in chat says, "Why wasn't Chef Pepperjack a sensei?" Do you have the answer for that? Are you part of the Activision committee at all?
No. I wish I had a good answer for that. Yeah, I would have preferred him over Taekwon Crow, but they made their decision. We have our figures. There's nothing we can do about it now.
Draco in chat says, Draco Angel says, I really want to see Cinder. We've seen a lot of cameos so far. Cinder would be interesting if they brought her in as, a crushie for Spyro, because that would fit some of the lore from the old Spyro video games. We got Chaos, seems to have a little crushie on the Golden Queen. We're not sure. Has Glumshanks expressed any crushies on anybody? Any other characters you think might have some little crushies happening in the show?
That's hard to say. I could see them maybe try to set Stealth up with someone, but I couldn't tell you who.
Stealth Elf and Bad Breath, you think?
That would be an interesting episode.
All right, Portal Masters, give yourselves a Portal Master rank out, rank up, and make sure to check out Matt's YouTube channel, youtube.com/SCL Matt. Apparently, Matt just passed 1,000 subscribers. So
yeah, we did.
So congrats. So now we got to help get him up there past 5,000, 10,000, 1,000,000, and and he also has his website too that lists, like, if you're ever looking for information about Skylanders, any of the Skylander games, his website is a good resource for that. So thanks a bunch, Matt, for jumping on, and thanks all you guys for sticking around talking some Skylanders Academy. It seems like from chat, people seem to be into the show. I haven't seen really any negative comment. Obviously, today is day one, so
yeah, that's the general reaction I've gotten so far. Is people seem to be very positive about it.
Yeah,
I like to see it.
So yeah, I'm happy. The only complaint I have is, where was this 6 years ago when the game launched? But now I'm glad that we sort of have it. So all right, Portal Masters, we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks a bunch, Matt. We'll see you guys.
Yeah, see you next week.